What's going on, guys? It's Lando from the Snap coming at you with a live start set again for week 10. I can't wait to get into everything today. I'm just here solo for a little while, but I do have my partner Mac coming with me eventually. I got to set up my pop mic here, but hope y'all are doing good and enjoying the game so far. The Germany game, uh, the Bucks versus the Seahawks. So far, it's going pretty good. I am hoping for a Chris Godwin touchdown. I mean, that's what we need here for the squad. I mean, we've been talking about Chris Godwin a lot. Mac and I have discussed him a lot. Either way, good morning, everyone. I'm all set to go now. Here, Griff in the chat, along with Brandon Phillips. We got Dad Destroy as well. He's got some good questions, especially about the thumbnail guy, Hopkins. He's got Lamb and Debo as good alternatives. And that's the problem with kind of rostering and starting Hopkins is that you drafted him pretty late. So you do likely have other good options because we did get notification that Kyler Murray is most likely out of this game. Now, I do need to go over the ins and outs, but we did get word as well that Josh Allen is starting today. So I'm not sure, along with, I guess, Ryan Tannehill. I just found out as well via notification. So this is going to have implications. I can't wait to talk it through with my boy Mac once he comes in, but I will answer all these questions. We've got producer Scott in the chat. I'm going to find the tweet from last night from Schefter with the ins and outs, or expected to play, and to kind of discuss some of the implications. So far, we have seen a good mix of Rachaad White in the backfield for Tampa Bay. I'm not sure if this will be the likelihood going forward because I did see on the broadcast that Leonard Fournette just got his passport hours before they took off. So it's possible that they just mixed in Rachaad White all week, expecting or preparing for the possibility that Leonard Fournette misses. So that's why we have a good mix. Or if he does have a good game and gets in the end zone further on, it's possible that he is just the starter going forward. So nice reception from Chris Godwin. Welcome in, Parker Master, coming in here with a great question. I am just going to find some of the ins and outs coming through. Expected to plays. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, guys, is the big one. He practiced this week. That's a huge in for the Indianapolis Colts with a new quarterback behind or at the helm there in Indy. I am starting JT with confidence this week. Aaron Jones expected to play. I expected him to miss and be out a little while, but he is expected to play. I likely see a bigger mix of Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. So I think that if you have AJ Dillon and have been tentative to start him lately, I think he does have a bit of a boost. We do have Elijah Mitchell that's been activated. So if you've been stashing him on your IR, he is no longer IR eligible, and that's really tough for someone that was just it's tough if you don't have anyone to drop. We do have Deebo Samuel back, and that's huge for the Niners and having a big game here. This is going to be the decision on how good truly Christian McCaffrey is going to be. I still think he's probably the RB1 rest of season, but if he's far and away the RB1 rest of season, Deebo Samuel likely won't be that top 12 stud that you probably drafted. We are seeing Jarvis Landry back, who's not really that fantasy noteworthy. Evan Ingram, and then TJ Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I mean, typically I don't mention TJ Watt, but he should, if you're thinking about starting the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I do think TJ Watt helps that defense and get those sacks. So I think the Pittsburgh defense is pretty viable. Brandon Phillips coming in here early. Appreciate you. He's got a kicker question. Matthew Wright or Dicker the kicker, or Tyler Bass for your kicker question. So, I mean, that's I love to start off the stream with a kicker question. If you are coming in here right now, we have 9 people watching, only 4 likes. Toss a like on this video. I'm here by myself grinding for y'all for answering your start sets. So toss a like. It helps the show. and we very, very much appreciate it. So, kicker question. Let me get in here with your kicker question. I do think that Tyler Bass is a very good kicker. If Josh Allen is limited at all, I think that Tyler Bass could get more work. So maybe it's a run heavy game. The elbow injury could limit him. I'm still not sitting Stephon Diggs. And now with Josh Allen playing, I do think that I mean, other options are viable for Buffalo. So I think out of your list here, I think that Tyler Bass is decent. Now it is in Buffalo, so we have to monitor the weather a little bit because my general rule of thumb is that I would just start a kicker in a dome. So I think Dicker the kicker is in a dome this week. So I think he's probably a fine start as well. Um, Matthew Wright. I don't even know who he plays for, uh, my dude. So we'll figure that out. I think Tyler Bass is fine. So Brandon also asks, Snap Army member Brandon, thank you for coming by. Full PPR, I need 3 receivers: CD, Amari Cooper, Kirk, and Curtis Samuel. And Brandon, I would go with CD, Amari, and Kirk, and I would sit down Curtis Samuel. So thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Dad Destroy. He's got to sit one. Hopkins, Lamb, or Debo Samuel. Man, and that's a very, very tough question because I don't know that I think I would have to sit Hopkins. And this is a start your studs. And for most questions, I will answer Hopkins, even with a backup Colt McCoy at the helm in Arizona. But you do have 2 other studs there. Debo Samuel coming back. I'm excited to see his usage in that offense. It's a good matchup, and it should be a high scoring game as well against the Chargers. They've been giving up a ton of fantasy points, so having Lamb and Debo in there is really good. And then you get the risk out of Hopkins. I do expect him to be targeted quite a bit, but there's always the Colt McCoy factor. And so that's in the sense where take the risk out of it. Dad Destroy. Actually, you know what? Sorry. Here, I'm slacking here. I can put your question up on the screen. Y'all, sorry about that. I'm here on my own. Usually that's been Mackenzie doing it. So yeah, I'm sitting Lamb, Dad Destroy. Thanks for coming by. Toss a like on the video. Good morning, Griff, my man. I need a Walker touchdown, or gonna have a tough drop and play. Yeah, I've been talking to Griff on. Well, I've been seeing his questions on our private Discord channel. So if you are part of the Snap Army, if you subscribe to our channel for $5 a month, you can be a part of our Snap Army private Discord. And he's been talking about having to start or drop a kicker. And I'm in the same situation, Griff, where I am in a tight matchup and I'm going to wait and probably pick up Dicker, the kicker, late tonight if I do need him. Producer Scott coming here. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Parkour Master. He's got Chase Edmonds or Kenyon Drake. And I would go with Kenyon Drake this week, my friend. He looked really good, but hold on. Am I losing my mind, or are the I was going to say the Ravens are on bye. So Kenyon Drake is on bye, Parkour Master. So if in that scenario, I don't know if Chase Edmonds gives you much more of an advantage over a guy on bye, but I would go Chase Edmonds. So give me your other options. Or for Kenyon Drake. Yeah, I'll take Kenyon Drake's side even on a bye week. Sorry, I misread it. My boy War coming in here. Mini Jordan in here. Tony coming here. Thanks for coming by, Austin. We will get your questions very shortly. Toss a like on the video to support the channel. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. We're very close, only 40 away. So this stream, hopefully we can get there. Share it out to your friends. Share it out to anyone you can, and it really helps the show. And I'll give you the best advice we can. Jarvis going nuts today. I'm hurt. Not sure what you mean, Griff. Jarvis Landry? I mean, he's playing. He's active today. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Warren always with the tough questions. He's got I got to pick 2 in a full PPR league. He's got Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Jamal Williams, and Devin Singletary. So with a limited Josh Allen, I do expect to see some more carries from Devin Singletary, but you have to think that if Josh Allen is truly active, he's got to be 80, 90%. I don't know why they would force him to play if he's not fully back. So Josh Jacobs is number 1 in there. No question. You gotta ride Josh Jacobs. And I do have quite a bit of confidence in Jonathan Taylor coming back. He practiced all week. This new coaching regime is tough, but you have to think that they're gonna want to win heavily. So I would just play both guys in that same matchup. Both defenses aren't great. Hopefully they just establish the run and you got that. And the Jamal Williams is tough because I think he should be started over DeAndre Swift this week. However, with no injury designation to DeAndre Swift and playing in a game that's projected to be a high over under, I do think, I say it every week, guys, and I'll see what Max says when he arrives, but I do think that DeAndre Swift will be more involved. He was only playing on 16% of snaps last week, but I think that it's going to be more of a 50-50 split between Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. With that being said, I think I go with Jacobs and Taylor. Start your studs. Pray to sweet baby Jesus that Jonathan Taylor comes back to what he should be, what we drafted him for, guys. So good luck, my friend. If you have a gut feeling and you want to just wait on JT, I'm totally okay with that. But I think I'm starting JT with more confidence. Mini Jordan 718 coming in here, full PPR. Choose a wide receiver, a flex. He's got Cortland Sutton, Rondell Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Tony, and Mac Hollins. You've got some good kind of stash plays with Hollins, Tony, Wan'Dale. My number one, so Rondell Moore would have been a much better start with Kyler Murray playing. And we could have easily put Rondell Moore in the thumbnail, but he's not a big of a name as DeAndre Hopkins. So I would like to sit Rondell Moore if I could. He's been getting tons of targets lately. It's been good for him, but I think I'm going to temper expectations with a backup quarterback. It could be very frustrating. Oh, did Chris Godwin score a touchdown? Let's go. Let's go. Some genuine reaction to the game. I hope it's not a penalty. Oh gosh, I hope it's not a penalty. I had it flipped to my ranking side, so I wasn't watching the game live. It's still a touchdown. Okay, I don't have it. All right, we're good. All right, bang bang. Okay, Mini Jordan. Hope y'all enjoy the commentary here. I'm gonna start Sutton and follow the targets that he's had before the bye. It should be a good game. So start Sutton for sure. Mac Hollins is interesting with a couple guys on IR for the Raiders. We obviously saw Darren Waller on IR, and the other guy's name escaping me, guys. I'm terrible with some stuff here. My brain is going bananas. I think I go Sutton and Mooney. Sutton and Mooney is where I go with that. Full PPR. And I think I like Tony and Wan'Dale as stashes. I spent a lot of time on that one. So hopefully y'all are coming through here. I do want to shout out more people. We got Griff. Parkour still in there. Bucksart TV. Grant, I'll get your question shortly. Griff is asking Herbert or Allen. And it's so hard to go away from Josh Allen, even in a limited fashion, Griff. I think I still start Josh Allen. I do like Justin Herbert in a potential very good game against the Niners, but he hasn't been that good. He hasn't scored that many fantasy points. He's been good, and I think that's the hate on Justin Herbert on the Twitter sphere is people are hating him and saying Tua's better or what have you. But Herbert's still a great NFL quarterback, but he's getting the hate because of you drafted him to be the number 3 or 4 fantasy quarterback, and he just hasn't been that way. So you start Josh Allen and don't kind of worry about it. If you're feeling bad about it, Griff, you can go with Herbert in a good game, but I think Josh Allen is a good play. Rondell Moore or Pittman, a full PPR. Tony, this is a tough one. This is a tough one because you have a backup quarterback. I don't know if you guys know if Matt Ryan is going to be back or not. I know he was questionable, but I'm expecting. Okay, so Matt Ryan, full participant. I think that potentially, um, man. Okay, so they promote Matt Ryan to backup QB role. So still Sam Ellinger is in. I think it's possible that Matt Ryan starts 3/4 of this game. So I would play Pittman in hopes that Matt Ryan is back and targets his number one wide receiver again. So that's probably where I go, Tony. Ayuk, Deontay, or Gibson at the flex, Austin. I am gonna go with Brandon Ayuk. I think it's a really tough one there. I like Ayuk this week. It should be a good game. He's shown to be very good, um, especially with a limited Debo getting a ton of targets. Gibson is in a spot where he's more reliable. Austin, is this a full PPR, half PPR? I know it doesn't really matter. I'm going to assume half PPR for these questions, but um, man, they're kind of all these guys in the same tier. I'm gonna remove. I gotta hide user on this channel. Okay, Austin half PPR. I see that right now. And that's what I would assume, and that's fine. Deontay now should see a bump up with Claypool gone, but so will Pickens. Deontay's getting the targets, is just not very many air yards. Um, Man, they're all very close. I think I lean Ayuk still. That's where my gut went. I just don't feel great about Deontay with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Gibson will have his big games. It's hard to project. It seems like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You just had a bad one. Maybe it's a good one. So it's a tricky scenario. Typically, the running backs are quote unquote safer. So if you are projected to win and just need a baseline, Gibson might be the play. Whereas Ayuk has that mixture of upside and floor in a half PPR league. Buckstar TV, good morning, my friend. Thanks for the words of encouragement. Need some help at the second RB this week. I have Henry locked in. Of course, love that. So right away, that tells me that you are probably projected to win. Henry is a stud. Pick one. Miles Sanders, Swift, Jeff Wilson Jr. Oh, yeah. They're projected about the same. Okay. All that information is so great to tell me. So appreciate you. You're a vet when it comes to our live streams, but it's a must win week. Good to know. In that case, I am going to go with Miles Sanders. Swift, I still like. I think he's going to have a good game, but he hasn't showed anything to make us believe that. I'm just a big Swift fan. I need it in my soul. That needs to happen. So I'll be watching that game with bated breath, but Miles Sanders will be my start. Jeff Wilson looks like he could be the number one option there in Miami, but I do think it's going to be a split backfield with Mostert and Wilson. He's a great stash. Keep him on your team. You could, like, after week one back, he got the 50% workload. It's possible that he goes over that, but you go Miles Sanders there, Bucksar, and then you get to have a fun Monday night, because I'm pretty sure that game is Monday night. So good stuff. Good luck, my friend. Parkour, Justin Herbert or Dak? I got Dak starting today for the matchup. Yep, I think that's very, very fair. Parkour, I would just start Dak. He's been good. Green Bay's defense isn't that good. Now their strength is at the cornerback position, but that's not going to stop Dak from scoring fantasy points. Here we go. There we go. That's what he said. I am celebrating. I've got him everywhere. So, yeah, huge fan of that. I'll turn on the game back again and see what happens. I also need a Walker touchdown. So, well, Griff, you've been sitting Godwin for weeks now because he doesn't score touchdowns. So it happens, man. I know it happens a lot. Oh, Who scored that? Oh, Lockett. Okay. All right. Hoping for a Walker, but Lockett just scored. D Hop or Amari Cooper, Warren? I would go with Amari Cooper. Just take the risk out of D Hop. He's been good. He's been scoring touchdowns quite a bit, but I think that Amari Cooper has been so safe that he's right in there. So take the risk out of it and just go with Amari. As a flex, would you go Sutton or Pittman? And Andrew Tate alt. I would probably go with Sutton because of the quarterback situation. If indeed we knew that Matt Ryan was starting, I think it would lean towards Michael Pittman because of how good how many targets Pittman was getting, how good he is. They're both really good talents, but I think Sutton with Russ is a better play. All right. Sorry, 2-point conversion. I just watched. April, thanks for coming by every single week. Appreciate you. Since Lamar's on bye, have Daniel Jones in or pick up Jimmy G off waivers. I was in a very similar situation because I have Joe Burrow on bye and I picked up Daniel Jones and I'm starting Daniel Jones. I could have picked up Jimmy G, but I did not. Daniel Jones against Houston. Now they're on like the Yahoo app, it's a 30th ranked defense against the quarterbacks, but I just think that's because their rushing attack is so susceptible to the rush. And I mean, Saquon is elite. So I would, I would go with, I'm going with Daniel Jones. I think Jimmy G is a very good start. I mean, I could pivot with you. April, let me know if you want to pivot. I think he's still available. He might not be. No, I can't pivot with you. He was picked up. Sorry. I wish I could. We could both go Jimmy G, handsome Jimmy together. Andrew Tate, I answered your question already. Thanks for coming in. Gator fan, always coming in. Hey, Lockett TD, Austin, you needed that too. Bam. So did Griff. Love that. How do you feel about Colt McCoy if Kyler Murray doesn't start? Also, do you think it was starting the New Orleans defense? Yes on both. I think it's totally fine. Let me know, Griff, who else is available to be picked up off waivers at the quarterback position. I prefer not to start a backup quarterback, but he could rush. He could get a rushing touchdown. That's kind of what you're hoping for. But let's see here. Who of the starters? I might start Ryan Tannehill. I keep saying that. Ryan Tannehill versus Denver, maybe I would start over him. If Jacoby Brissett's available on your waivers, I'd probably go that way. Heck, maybe Aaron Rodgers is even available. And even though it's a Dallas defense, heck, I would definitely start Jared Goff if he's available. So maybe all those guys are not on waivers, but let me know. Trevor Lawrence is also in a very good spot as well. But let me know, Gator fan. See what's up. All right, we got Thielen or Cooks at the flex. I am very concerned about Brandon Cooks. He got his captain's designation stripped from him before the game. He's not happy. He's not a leader anymore. Kind of seems like a toxic player. Nico Collins, I believe I saw this week that he's active. So I would just go Adam Thielen and Piran and don't worry about him. So yeah, I'm going to sit Brandon Cooks anywhere I can unless you have literally no other option. Recoil MC is asking, full PPR, Kadarius Toney or Jarvis Landry? Interesting. So I think Jarvis Landry is in a decent situation. We hope that he is healthy, but that's still TBD. Like he's back, he's playing. He should see a decent workload, but Kadarius Toney, I am excited to see how he will be worked in. We're not sure how it's going to work. The Kansas City Chiefs just spread the ball everywhere, and you're hoping for a touchdown from Toney, where in theory Landry should see more targets. So in a full PPR league, I think Landry has more targets than Toney, whereas Toney could break off the big play. Gator fan is also asking, how do you feel about Josh Palmer and Rondell Moore this week? I think Josh Palmer is a very good start, and you should start him if you have him. with everyone out for the Chiefs, or for the Chargers, I mean. I think Palmer is a good spot. Griff, I also need the Walker usage. Now he's looking all right. He's got about in half PPR leagues. He is just over 10 fantasy points. Looks like Leonard Fournette is doubtful. Doubtful to play, but or doubtful to return. So good for any Rachaad White owners. If you did have the confidence to start him this week, Griff is excited about the luck of touchdowns. So is Austin Grant. Thanks for coming in, everyone. We are almost all up to date with questions, and Mac should be in here shortly, so I can just talk about the game. Maybe we can worry about my lineups, and we'll see how things go. But we are trying to get to 3,000 subs today. So if you are watching, we have 6 people watching right now. It's a slow start sit segment. Share it to your friends, and we very much appreciate it. Jacoby or Andrew Dalton, I would probably go with Jacoby Brissett. Tony, I have Pittman and Goddard as my 10. Should I consider starting one instead of Pittman? I think that's not a bad play. I would probably start Goddard over Pittman at the flex, Tony. So that's probably a pretty good pivot, since you have 2 elite tight ends. Goddard scored 20 fantasy points last week, so he got like 10 targets. I don't see a realm right now, unless Matt Ryan starts, that Pittman sees 10 targets, unfortunately. Not with Sam Ehlinger anyways at the quarterback position. We are pretty much all up to date. So if you're watching, coming in right now, appreciate you. I'll get to your questions pretty much right away. And if Matt comes in, then we can banter a little bit and discuss some options. Ayuk, Terry, or Pickens. I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk for Seti. So I think he's going to be pretty good, even with Deebo Samuel back playing. I think Ayuk still sees quite a bit of targets. He was seeing that before Deebo Samuel went out, but the only difference is obviously now Christian McCaffrey is back there as well. So should be a good passing attack. I mean, I'm excited to watch that game. Browns winning 100%. I wouldn't call it 100%. The NFL does not work in absolutes. We saw that last week with the Jets beating the Bills. So I would have bet 100% that the Bills won, and it ruined my parlay this past week. But the Dolphins are a good team. The Dolphins are going to put up a lot of points with Waddle, Tyreek, a couple of really good running backs now with Jeff Wilson and Mostert. Gesicki involved. I mean, it should be a very fun game to watch. The Dolphins did acquire some defensive players at the trade deadline. But their defense still puts up or gives up a lot of fantasy points. So I'm excited for both sides. Chubb, even Kareem Hunt, I'm considering starting. Obviously, you're starting Amari Cooper, and I've already recommended some people starting Amari Cooper. Donovan Peoples-Jones is one of those players that I would flex in this week because of the high over-under game, potential shootout, the Dolphins defense really letting up a lot of fantasy points. So either way, I think we're in a good spot here. Gator fan, I'm actually starting Matt Ryan too. It's a 2 quarterback league, so that makes more sense why it's limited at the quarterback position. And so yeah, I would totally start Colt McCoy in a 2 quarterback league. And I have Marcus Callaway that's ruled out, and I have him starting in a very deep dynasty league. So I got to switch that out right now. Where do I have him? I think I have him in a Country Clubbers league that I play on with Mackenzie. So I need to put in, let's go with Justin Watson, wide receiver for the, oh, come on. All right, now I got to do some maneuvering here because I don't have roster space, because what I mentioned before with Elijah Mitchell was on my IR, and now he's not. So now I got to put in, instead of Marquez Callaway, I got to put in Justin Watson. What do you think? Darius Slayton, everyone, or Justin Watson? Who do you prefer? Let me know, and I will listen to the most votes. Both are. It's a deep dynasty league. It's it's in the flex, so it's at my wide receiver spot actually. Justin Watson or Darius Slayton? Let me know what you think. I know it's gross, but here that's where we are when you get into deep dynasty leagues. Interception for Tom Brady. Chris Benger coming in. See, we're all up to date, so thank you for coming in. Toss a like on the video. We're trying to get to 3,000 subs, only 40 away. I think hopefully it happens this week. We need to keep on the grind. Lazard, Judy, or Palmer, pick one. I think I would go with Palmer. He is the number one. I know Lazard is in a similar situation, but against Dallas defense, it's going to be a tough matchup, and they are going to hone in on Lazard. So I would go Palmer over Judy because, that's where I would go. Chris Bettinger. Next, I would probably go Lazard and then Judy. The only reason I like Jerry Judy as a talent, but Cortland Sutton is still, in my opinion, the number one option. Whether that's legitimate or not is still TBD. But Palmer looked really good last week, had a good game, needs to get in the end zone. They need him more than anything in LA. So I like Palmer and then Lazard and then Judy in that matchup. So if y'all are watching, let me know what else you need today in this early game. I'm playing against Seattle defense, and it looked good for now, but now with some sacks, strip sack, with an interception, man, they're starting to pile up the points against me. Hopefully, Mac is in here soon because we're all up to date on questions. Okay, we got Griff. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, Griff, coming in here with more questions. See, these are the kind of situations where he already has a starter. He's just helping me out with a question. He's got Palmer, Amon-Ra, Cooper, Sutton, MBS, pick two. So, although I've been talking, and this is probably why I've been talking lots about Palmer, Josh Palmer, and there's a chance that, he has come on there. Oh, man, Seattle, get some first downs here. We need you to get some first downs. Got to go for it. 5 minutes, 43 seconds left on my screen. They got to go for it. 4th and 4. You got to go Amon-Ra and Amari Cooper there, Griff. So Palmer's been good. Sutton hasn't been good. So he's an easy sit from that list, even though I've told people to start him today. And MVS is just seems like he's good one week and bad the next. It's one of those tough situations. So Amon-Ra, I still am expecting. Okay, they're going for it. Love that. Get a first down. Come on, get a first down. And I think this game against the Bears is going to be really good. Oh, first down. Let's go. Let's go. My boy Mercado Airwaves coming in. We still got to reach out and get on the phone. Oh, and Mac is coming in. Love that. Love that. Just as I'm on the struggle bus. So yeah, Griff, go Amon-Ra and Cooper. And I do think Palmer has a good game. Griff has too many leagues. Always has a question. We can just fill up the live stream with Griff questions here. Chris, you're very welcome for the help. He needs one here for the flex. Judy or Connor? And I think that Connor is actually a pretty decent play. I'm on record that I'm not a James Conner fan. And I know neither is Mac, but it's a full PPR league, so it makes Judy a little bit closer. But I think James Conner should have a pretty good game. I think he's in line. He should get the majority of the work. First game back, he had a 70% snap share, and I gotta welcome in my boy Mac. He can get himself in here if he wants, but no, he can't. He can't get in. Can I add you in? All right.
There we go. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Love it. I will go with the new overlay. There we go. Love that.
You have to do a little switching now.
Oh, I got some switch. Here we go. I gotta like this and go like that. Bam.
Yes, guy.
Love that. Love that. Mac is out having a good time watching me struggle today.
You're struggling?
We got no questions. We're all up to date.
Oh, what?
It's been a slow day. It's been a slow day. But we do have our friend Mercado Airwaves coming in here because we got invited last week onto a Chicago show.
We did?
So yeah, well, I did technically because
right.
yeah. But new overlay coming up. Yes, sir, we are. I guess Mercado does a radio show in Chicago, so the Snap Boys are going to come on.
Let's do it.
So he's got play 2 in a full PPR. He's got Swift and Williams, Hunt and Herbert. Lots of Lions and Bears. I mean, he's from Chicago. I mean, he knows that the Chicago defense is decimated, and the Lions defense is also one of the best in the league for giving up fantasy points. Mac, you're on record to be a massive DeAndre Swift fan. You went to the game and watched him play on 16% of snaps. Would you just play both Swift and Williams in this scenario, or would you go with Kareem Hunt, who also projects to be in a good over-under game against Miami?
If the matchup was better on the ground, I think I would play both Lions. But because it's not, the Bears are actually decent.
But they traded away other guys. I mean, they should be. They're pretty susceptible right now, aren't they?
Sure, one could argue it's not the highest over/under game of the week. It's not projecting to be something crazy for fantasy purposes. I'm going to play DeAndre Swift, who looks like he's got the full go. Like, we might see him unleashed a little bit.
Sure.
Wasn't on the injury report. Who knows what their game plan is for him, but it kind of looks like it should be more than it was last week. So I would go Swift still, and then I would go Hunt.
Okay. So you're back on the Swift train.
I never left.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right.
It looked like we were going to epically crash off the rails, never make it to the destination.
Right. Now it seems positive.
It looks good.
Zeke or Mac Hollins? Now, obviously,
Zeke's expected to be out today.
Zeke is projected to be out right now?
That's what I believe.
I haven't heard anything about Zeke. If in fact he is out, Griff, I mean, we're playing Mac Hollins, but I'm going to see if there's any news on Zeke. I have him. Let's see. He's still questionable right now, but not expected to play against Green Bay.
There you go.
Last time we heard 20 minutes ago. So, yeah. So sit your Zeke Elliott's and start Mac Hollins in a full PPR. Claire coming in here. Appreciate you, Claire. Always. I mean, she knows the right answer to this question. She's got a defense question, Mac. Very close matchup versus a divisional rival. I'm stressing out over the details. Denver defense or the Titans defense. They play each other. So Titans have a good defense. And we did hear that Ryan Tannehill. I keep doing it. I say Matt Ryan when I mean Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is playing today.
Yeah.
Denver traded away Chubb, which is interesting. I'm not sure why they did that, but they did. Because they were quote unquote going for it with Russell Wilson. Who do you like this week, Mac? I personally like the Cardinals if they're available on your waivers, but
you like who? Sorry,
the Cardinals with the backup quarterback in LA.
You like their defense?
Yeah,
but the Cardinals are without Kyler too, right?
Yeah, it's a backup court. It's going to be it's a backup quarterback battle.
Just gross on either side.
Yeah,
I like the Broncos.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that can really give the Broncos a tough time is going to be Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that I don't know if Tannehill is going to start today. I assume he will. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be Derrick Henry just rushing all over them. Whereas,
like,
I mean,
if you want to throw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this figure for you here, but fantasy points allowed, the Denver Broncos have to be allowing some of the least to the wide receiver position. They are allowing the fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers at 17.4 per game.
The Broncos are.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Titans are just gonna give Derrick Henry 35 attempts probably.
They're gonna try.
They're gonna try, and I mean that's the thing. That's the scenario, Claire, that you have to play out. If Denver gets a lead and forces the Titans to pass, then we're talking that it should be a good game for you. And there's sacks that happen, possible interceptions that happen. But if
The Tennessee Titans are giving up the third most to wide receivers at 33. So, I mean, if you want to talk about a narrative that presents itself where Derrick Henry could be the only factor against the Broncos, I could get behind that. But Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, whoever's going to be throwing the ball, it's going to be like, go for it. I expect there to be some turnovers in this game. And if there isn't, it's a really low scoring game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Denver. I don't think the Titans have the secondary to stop Judy Sutton, Hamler.
Right.
I think Dulcich.
Griff, you had to swap video feeds. Looked so wrong, but we got it. We
had it.
Gator fan, what do we expect from production wise? James Conner and Rondell Moore. So I've been kind of against Rondell Moore. I'll still obviously start your stud. Start DeAndre Hopkins in most scenarios.
Yeah.
I had a big one with like Debo and Lamb to start the stream when I'm going to just go with Debo and Lamb and just take the risk factor out of Hopkins in that scenario. But so I think I'm fine. I'm very fine starting James Conner this week, and I'm just fine sitting Rondell Moore with the backup quarterback.
What you want for Rondell Moore is the volume. And when you don't have the volume, it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
James Conner, at least with a backup, can still, get his touches with very little difference. It doesn't take much to hand the ball off. Now, granted, Colt McCoy, not the worst backup in the world. Like he can orchestrate an offense. So it's not like it's a massive downgrade, but it is a downgrade. So Rondell Moore might be attractive to Colt McCoy, but we don't know. But James Conner is definitely going to be part of the game plan. So I think the safer play is with James Conner. I don't expect a ton, but it's not going to be enough to kill your lineup. Rondell Moore, though, could potentially goose you.
Yeah, James Conner, first game back, had 70% snap share.
Yeah.
Benjamin is droppable in most formats. Mac and I aren't a fan of James Conner, but I mean, the opportunity is there. And if he gets in the end zone, you're happy. I mean, Claire does come back with I would pick up the Rams against the backup quarterback. I think that's a nice add over
just give me both. A part of that game. Just give me a part of that.
Exactly.
Game.
Yeah. The Cardinals always, and maybe it's partially to do with Kyler, but they give up a ton of sacks. So
they do.
And Kyler hangs on to the ball too long, and it's possible that Colt McCoy does the same thing. That's typical of backup quarterbacks. Griff is saying Rachaad White is having a good game, and he very much is. Love that. And
I've been watching this game very intently. I've got a very interesting in-game parlay currently.
Oh, love that.
It's very close. I need Evans and Godwin for one more catch each. I need Ken Walker for 20 more yards and Brady for 20 more passing yards.
Okay, so this is big. I think it's possible that the Bucs score a touchdown here and give the Seahawks the ball back, and then we have that scenario probably working out for you.
It would be awesome if it could play out.
But the only issue, I guess, is that if they could just run out the clock and it's a bunch of kneel downs coming up.
Realistically, I would love a field goal, then a Seahawks touchdown, 2-point convert for OT, and then let's just.
Oh, here we go.
I do need the Bucs to win though, so playing with fire.
Right. You have to have a lot of things happen correctly.
Yeah.
John, Freiermuth or Dalton Schultz at tight end? I mean, the Schultz is playing your Green Bay Packers, and Freiermuth looks like he's on the upswing here, and is in a good spot with Claypool being traded away against the Saints.
Yeah.
They're very close. I think I still lean Schultz by a little bit, but it's very close to me.
The only bright spot for the Green Bay Packers is their secondary. Like they do not give up a ton to wide receivers, to tight ends for fantasy purposes anyways. So their secondary, their pass protection, pass defense, very, very good. They are very susceptible on the ground.
Right.
And they've shown that time and time and time again. Now, Dalton Schultz is good. Dak has a tendency to hyper-target him sometimes. I'm going to lean Freiermuth here by a hair, but if you're looking for who has the best chance to score a touchdown, it is Dalton Schultz, because I expect the Cowboys to be able to score on the Packers almost at will.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
So I would pick the Cowboys to outscore the Steelers, and really, if we're looking for who can get the touchdown, I'll go with the guy that can get the higher chance at that. So I'll go Schultz, but it's close.
Yeah, I think they're both good starts. So it's hard to, like Max said, you're hoping for a touchdown with both. Both are seeing a bunch of targets. They're probably number 2 or like Schultz is probably still the number 2 option on that team.
Yeah,
as a pass catcher.
This might be the week for Michael Gallup. Hopefully,
that's true.
maybe.
That's true. So maybe they're both kind of that. They're in all very similar situations. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Griff, he gets the award for the most questions because he's got 1,000 teams. Going through, he's got full PPR, Najee, Everett, or DeAndre Carter for the flex, I assume.
I'll still play Najee. I don't love it though.
Yeah, I don't love it, but yeah, I think Najee.
You got to, I think.
Yeah. Rachaad White looks great.
Yeah, if you have him in some dynasty leagues or you'd stashed him in your redraft, you've got to be somewhat thrilled. And I'll be really interested to see what the actual snap share is between Fournette and Rachaad White after this game is
Fournette went out. He was doubtful to return.
Even in the beginning part of the game, though.
Yeah.
Rachaad White got the opening carries, right?
Yeah. So when I was watching the broadcast, and Fournette went out, and Rachaad White just knelt down. So they're gonna just run the clock out. Sorry, Mac.
So close, man.
He could have got a touchdown there, and I think they were almost gonna let him do it, but
he just close.
Slid down. Hate to see it.
I do want to throw something out here, though, to anyone who's watching who likes to toss a little coin on the games. There is a trend right now in the NFL that is on fire.
The unders?
The unders on a double-digit favorite.
Oh, okay.
When you have a double-digit favorite, and this week there is none, there's really close, 9.5 points. The Jags are 9.5-point dogs to the Chiefs. If you take the under in a double-digit favorite game, it is hitting right now. So keep your eyes peeled on that.
So I went with I've got a big under parlay going. I did like a mass. Oh, come on, we got one of these free bets.
I have an under as well. I'm gonna bring it up. It's not bad. So
I did under on Thursday night, and that hit. And I did under to this game here, 44.5, and that's about to hit.
Wow.
And then I went under 49 points with the Browns Dolphins. Under Saints Steelers. I think that's going to be a good one. Yeah, the under Jags Chiefs. I have a big under. Put $5 to win 846.
I went under 51 in the Jags Chiefs game, under 43.5 in the Commanders Eagles game, Vikings plus 6.5, and Bucks money line.
Ooh, and you went Bucks money line. Were the Seahawks favored?
No, they were 2.5-point dogs.
Okay. Gator fan. It's a double flex league. My other options besides more are either Allen Robinson, Kadarius Toney, or pick up Paris Campbell.
Yeah. I mean,
I like James Conner. Would be. I think that's what Gator fan was asking about.
Is it Conner or these other options?
I guess so. Conner or Allen Robinson would be the biggest one, right?
I thought he was asking both of them for the flex.
Right. Okay. Would you go Allen Robinson over Rondale Moore?
I think I would play all of these guys over Rondale.
Okay. There you go.
Tony is so like Robinson dealing with a backup, Campbell dealing with a rookie trying to find himself.
Yeah.
In an offense that gets JT back, and then Kadarius Toney is in a new offense, but with a fully healthy quarterback and a really, really good team. I know we've used that argument so many times before, but it's like when we're talking about potential, Tony has the biggest potential here. And we know Allen Robinson and Paris Campbell can both be disappearing acts. So, I mean, if I'm looking for a big play, it's probably with Kadarius Toney. I'm looking for something that's safe. I mean, Paris Campbell's been targeted a ton lately.
Yeah.
So maybe Paris.
Yeah. And it's possible that Matt Ryan got elevated to the backup position. I was thinking it could be that he plays 3/4 of football.
Are we trading for a defense here? Or is that Justin Jefferson?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, it says trading Kelsey and Hopkins for Jets and Mixon.
Right. Okay. I have an offer for giving Kelsey and D-Hop for, I would assume that's Justin Jefferson.
That's what I'm hoping.
Justin
Please
Jefferson,
don't trade for defenses.
Jay Jets, and Mixon. My RBs are all right. For me, it's got to. What's your tight end situation like? Pratham.
I mean, Justin Jefferson is an upgrade to D-Hop, but it's not a huge upgrade. And then it all depends on your, like Landon said, like, what do you have at tight end? What do you have at running back? Because that does matter. What are you left with?
Yeah.
I'm probably just staying put, though, unless I really need help at a certain position. Or you have like a, I don't know, Kelsey Hawkinson situation where you can just stream Hawkinson.
So
Kelsey,
if you have Goddard, Kittle, Hawkinson, sounds like if you have Goddard, one of those 3 other guys, maybe do the deal. But if you have a Pitts and Everett, even a Schultz, Komet, then keep Kelsey.
I mean, it's unlikely that you have a reliable tight end as your backup.
Right. So, yeah. Claire, happy she's got Rachaad White in Dynasty, but also don't have a first-round pick last year. My Dynasty team is exceptionally terrible. I'm sad that the pick is gone. Yeah, that makes it tough. Trading away future picks and then not being able to and being one of the worst teams in the league. That's tough. I hate that too, Claire, because we'll be talking and doing analysis next year on this 2023 class, and it looks great so far. But
Claire, I have a piece of advice for you. In Dynasty, you are in one of 2 lanes, or else you are losing. You need to either be a contender, push all your chips, your picks to the middle, go after assets that will help you win, or you need to blow it up and sell your assets and rebuild. Yeah. So, if you're a team that's in the middle, you'll never win in Dynasty. It just won't happen. So, for example, if you had like a Cooper Kupp on your Dynasty team, but you were second or last place in your league, go sell Cooper Kupp to a contender for 1 to 2 firsts, or a younger piece like a Rachaad White and a first and a second. Like, do stuff like that to help you rebuild quicker. Turn one asset into 2 or 3, and that'll really help. But you can't stay in the middle.
Yeah, it's tough for sure. Anyone over the age of 27, just ship them off almost, right?
At wide receiver, no.
Right. Yeah, if you have, who's like a 27, 28-year-old wide receiver that you want?
AJ Brown, for example.
Okay, that's a perfect example. Yeah.
I'm hanging on to AJ Brown even in a rebuild.
Sure.
You know, but I'm selling Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, DeAndre Hopkins at their absolute ceiling.
Right.
Yeah.
Protham has Freiermuth as his other tight end. So just we're saying just to keep Kelsey and D-Hop.
It depends what he had at running back. Like, if your running backs were Javonte Williams and DeAndre Swift to start the year, like, you kind of feel like you need some help.
Yeah.
You've been kind of making it work with a running back 3 in your running back 2 slot. Like, I would say probably in the aggregate you might win if you get Mixon, but Freiermuth would have to be decent.
Yeah, and Jefferson is better than DeAndre Hopkins, and
Yep. You get a downgrade at tight end significantly, but if your running back 2 is, who'd be a good example of this? Is Kareem Hunt as far-fetched to say, like, going from Hunt to Mixon would be enough of an upgrade? Hypothetically speaking? Or if you had Zeke Elliott as your running back too, like to upgrade Zeke to Mixon would be huge.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
So I think I would do the deal, but it is dependent on who your running backs are.
Yeah. Richie Rich, we've got Ertz or Hawkinson full PPR. We saw Hawkinson get hyper involved this past week, but Ertz is as safe as can be, but now with the backup quarterback.
It's tough, man. Like it's gonna be a tough matchup for the Vikings today, with or without a healthy Josh Allen on the other side of the ball. I know their secondary is beat up, the Bills, but I don't necessarily know that Hawkinson gets a ton of, like, not like last week. Last week was awesome for targets, receptions. I think I'm going to lean Ertz slightly.
Yeah, I think it's really close. It's really close. Sorry, we got Chris coming here. Pick one, full PPR. Judy, Mostert, Connor. Mostert saw about 50% of the snaps last week with Jeff Wilson. Connor saw 70%. Now with the backup quarterback, and Jerry Judy is the 1B or 1A, depending on how you want to look at it, to a struggling Russell Wilson.
In my opinion, Mostert is no longer startable.
Right.
I would probably play Jerry Judy over James Conner.
In full PPR. And half PPR might be closer.
I think the matchup is better.
Yeah. Cool. Next, we've got Zane coming in here. Singletary, Khalil Herbert, Curtis Samuel, or Jeff Wilson at the flex. I would probably go Singletary. From this list. Yeah. Allen, 2K5, CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Judy. A CeeDee Lamb by a lot, I think. I know that, and you mentioned earlier that the Packers don't give up much to the wide receiver, but I mean, CD I think will still get his. You have to think.
CD will still get his, for sure. But man, it's close. I still go Lamb though.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be closer than we like.
Yeah, to think. You might not be wrong there. You might not be wrong. And Arizona defense, who I mentioned earlier, or Steelers defense, since TJ Watt is back. And I had the same scenario come up.
TJ Watt is back, but Minkah Fitzpatrick is out.
That's true. I thought about that as well.
Emergency appendectomy.
Yeah, crazy. So for that, I would still just lean the Arizona defense and hope that you get a lot of some sacks, interceptions. And,
go with the game that could potentially be a little bit sloppy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Player prop. Griff talking about betting here. Najee under 64.5 rushing and receiving. Dalton 18.5 completions. Kamara 104.5 rushing and receiving. That's a big over. Pickett over 20.5 completions. That's a big parlay, Griff. What part of that? And then Olave looks like he has another one. Olave over 62.5 receiving yards. Any part of that parlay you don't like?
The only one I don't like is Pickett over 20.5
completions. That's
the only one I don't like.
Yeah. Jay Herbert or Fields. This is what it's gotten to now with Justin Fields on an absolute tear. I think
I'll go Fields.
Yeah. Against Detroit.
Great matchup. Coming off a huge week. Lots of confidence. Justin Herbert has no Mike Williams. No Keenan Allen. Gross.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you're new to the channel, toss a like on the video. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. We're only 40 subscribers away. So share it out to your friends. Help the show. Have them come by, family, friends, anyone you can, share it out. We very, very much appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
Hanging. Hines or Melvin Gordon? This is the award for the grossest question of the day. But they've got Mixon on by. And so Donovan Peoples-Jones, Gabe Davis, Sutton, Khalil Herbert ranked the 4.
Dang. Okay. Well, Sutton ahead of Gabe Davis just because of the potentials that exist for Josh Allen today. Like, he could play a quarter, a half, the full game. We don't know. It looks like he's going to give it a go, but who knows? But I'll go Sutton, Gabe Davis, Khalil Herbert, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
DPJ's been kind of sneaky with the targets lately.
He has. He still is less appealing to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's
than these other options.
He's more of a daily fantasy play, in my opinion. He's cheap on that, and
could break a slate with a big game.
Of course, and I mean, so can Gabe Davis, but that's where the question marks about a limited Josh Allen rise.
Yes.
You know, like, I'm surprised he's playing in this game. I mean, when Mac and I talked about this Wednesday, like, it's more important to have a healthy Josh Allen in the playoffs, even if they don't get the bye somehow, than a banged up Josh Allen into the playoffs. I mean, their goals are Super Bowl or bust. They've got such a good team, so I don't know why. It's possible that he could just not feel great and just be ruled out of the game at any time. So with that being said, Hines being the new Bucks pass catching running back who didn't really get involved week 1, but I mean, that's not a shocker. Or Melvin Gordon with a who knows, a hands up backfield in Denver.
Man, I'll probably go Hines. I don't love the Broncos' ability to move the ball, and it's been a really indecisive split between Murray and Gordon.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just out. I'm just out on that whole backfield right now.
Yeah.
I'll take Hines.
Yeah, same. If you guys are new to the channel, we've got 20 people watching. Toss a like on the video. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers, like I mentioned. So share it out to your friends. We really much appreciate it. And we'll get to your question. We're almost up to date, so you won't have to wait too long before your question's answered. Everett or Schultz? Everett, Mr. Necessary, with like the number 2 option maybe behind Palmer.
I think I'm going to go Everett here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Even though Everett's kind of let you down lately, I think I also lean Everett. D-Hop today. This is the question, and this is our thumbnail for this reason.
Next best Mac Hollins.
Woo! You have to start D-Hop in that scenario.
You have to. Matchup is good for the Raiders. They play the Colts. But, like, we've seen Mac Hollins have some big games. We've also seen him absolutely disappear. Are we forecasting a big game? No. Like I said earlier, Colt McCoy definitely not someone who is a stranger to the NFL field. Like, he is a good backup quarterback. He will distribute the ball. He will be able to move the offense. So typically what you see what happens, a backup comes in, they target their best player.
I was just going to say that.
And Hopkins is
far and away
the best player on that team. So
yeah, he's not going to target 5'8" Rondell Moore. Like, come on here.
Yeah.
Like, the catch radius for Hopkins is huge. He's got the biggest hands in the league.
Massive. Yeah.
On earth. Stewart coming in, always coming in here. Thank you as a loyal fan of the show. We did have a good week. Mac is out visiting our good friends out in Ottawa, our nation's capital. I've got full Eagles investment with Hurts, Brown, Goddard, Elliott, their defense, but I'm torn out wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, Mooney, or Thielen. Mooney is, in a good matchup against the Lions. We have Thielen, that tough matchup, but against the Bills. And then Deontay Johnson, now without Claypool, should see similar targets probably in that Pittsburgh offense. What do you lean here?
Thielen is Thielen might have to be necessary in this game for the Vikings to compete. Like, adding Hawkins into the mix really makes things interesting for Thielen. Because if you double Jefferson, Thielen and Hawkinson are going to be
Yeah.
monsters, right? If you play them straight up, any of them can win their matchups. The question is, in this game, do the Vikings get into the red zone enough times to where Thielen can have red zone looks? Because that's ultimately what's going to give him value. I don't know that I feel confident in betting on that. Between DJ and Mooney has been fairly reliable the last 6 weeks.
He really has.
And finally got into the end zone last week. I like the game script that exists in Detroit.
Yeah.
I think I like that more so than the Steelers.
I want to bet the over right now, just how bad the defenses are.
The beautiful thing about Deontay Johnson is that his target share, his target count is still very high. High single digits, low double digits. Like, he's getting a lot of looks. The quality of target is just not there. The average depth of target is just not there. So while he's getting a ton of looks, I don't feel comfortable with betting on him to give you a big day. So who has the biggest potential today? I think it's Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. With that slate of Eagles, I mean, you're probably favored. You are rocking and rolling there with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, but I like it. Meet the Woo. Same question as before.
D-Hop.
It's going to be D-Hop for us. Crystal VB has a question. Need your help today. I have Kyler Murray, and now it's looking like he's out. Top 5 on Yahoo Fantasy are Jones, Goff, Wilson, Cousins, Tannehill. Thoughts?
Daniel Jones against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I picked up Daniel Jones in one of my leagues too. So, Crystal, if you're here, I'll be along with you on that roller coaster ride that is Daniel Jones. Russell Wilson's not really in contention. I think Jared Goff is interesting against. We've been talking about that game a lot. The Bears defense is bad. Cousins, tough matchup. But typically Cousins is a pretty safe quarterback.
Very safe.
To me, it's probably Jones, Cousins, Goff in that order. I'm not going to pick up Tannehill or Russ this week.
I agree with you. Jones, Cousins,
What's
Goff,
nice
go Jones.
What nice about Jones is his rushing. You want to see him rush the football. Hopefully, it's a good game. PJ Brown, I want to hear honest takes on today's Vikings versus Bills matchup in Buffalo. So,
I honestly think the Vikings can win.
They can. I think they can win as well. What happens with Josh Allen is a kind of there's a range of outcomes. He could play good. He's back. If he's starting the game, you want to hope that he's himself. Gets a whatever shot in his elbow, he can't even feel it, and he just slings the ball like he always does. And then it could be a high over-under game. I don't know. It's in Buffalo. The weather. How's the weather down there, Mac?
Cold. We are currently 2 degrees. So if you're in the States, you're looking at like 38 Fahrenheit and feels like 30. And Buffalo ain't too far. So it's got to be close to freezing. And it's windy. So I don't necessarily feel great about the weather. But this is Buffalo football. The one thing I'll say about Josh Allen is that his UCL injury is like the inner part of the elbow. So basically, like for any major league pitchers or like quarterbacks, this position of having the rotation on the elbow is what ultimately leads to the overuse of the. Now for him, it wasn't overuse. It was his arm getting sort of manipulated into a position that's not supposed to be. But it's something he's going to try to work through. I don't know if he's had a shot or what, but this is unknown territory for Josh Allen. So will he run as much with this UCL injury, or will he remain in the pocket? Who knows? Will he be able to play a full game without this flaring up? We don't know. I do think that the Vikings can win, because the one piece that I think everyone overlooks is that the Buffalo Bills are not as good on the ground as they used to be, and their secondary is beat up. So I do expect the Vikings to put up a good fight, much like the Jets did last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Actually, I was going to mention in cold games, and now it might not affect it in a game around 0, but in a cold game, I heard an NFL player talk about this, is that it hurts more to tackle,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it hurts on both sides. So
When your skin
typically there's
burns because it's so cold.
like the
Oh,
scores, even though the theory you might think about it, a cold game, low totals, but a cold game it's harder, and the scores might go up a little bit, and no one wants to tackle a guy like Dalvin Cook with a head of steam, and you just like you just said, they've been giving it up to the running attack.
they have.
Pick one: Lazard, Swift, or Jamal Williams in a full PPR league. Interesting option. The number one, far and away, Alan Lazard, or one of the Lions running backs.
I'm still going Swift.
We're still going Swift. So no one blames you if you want to stay away from Swift, how he's been treating you lately. We
Nope.
are expecting a higher snap share between Swift and Jamal Williams, closer to that 50-50 mark that we saw earlier. And in a full PPR, Swift should see more targets. And the Bears defense is bad. They just traded away players. I really hope that it's going to be and they give up a lot to the rushing attack. I think it's one of the two Lions running backs. If you want to flip a coin, Red Sox card collector, I don't blame you. BC Gamer Kid, Monty, Swift, or Connor full PPR. I think I would just go Montgomery here.
Yeah, and I think that's the proper order. Monty, Swift, Connor.
Yeah.
Full PPR, like the one thing we have to acknowledge is that James Conner's pass catching work is not the same as Swift and Monty.
Mm-hmm.
Swift is the highest pass catcher of the group, so, but he's the least healthy. So Monty, Swift, Connor, I think is the right order.
Yeah. 15 minutes left before kickoff. We have 2,971 subscribers, only 30 more to get to 3K. Share it out to your friends. Like a video while you can, and we very much appreciate the support. Stream Juwan Johnson or Harrison Bryant at tight end.
Juwan.
I like Juwan Johnson as well. Griff, I know they're talking about the picket line. Yeah, hey, I hope it works out. Crystal VB, defense pick one: Giants, Saints, Cardinals, Broncos. We've got Godfather J6 saying Giants has his vote. What are your thoughts here on the defenses?
It's between Giants and Saints for me.
Yep. So I like Giants defense has been good. Stick with the Giants. Good morning, Godfather. Hope everyone enjoyed the Germany game. Did you hear that there's over 1 million people that tried to get tickets to that game?
3 million.
3 million?
3 million ticket requests.
Holy.
I also did some research there. In Germany, the average viewership in 2014 was 1.5 million. Now in 2022, it is almost 8 million. So that fandom in Germany has skyrocketed.
Yeah. I mean, there was a 9-hour time difference for Seattle coming from the West Coast all the way. I mean, that had to factor in. They should have probably not won the game, but they should have at least been a little bit closer. But that's a tough travel. That's a tough trip to Germany.
It's not like they did it yesterday, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jet lag lasts a couple of days, maybe a day and a half if you do it properly.
A big difference. 9 hours is a lot.
Yeah. JDGG. Did he mess up here, starting Aaron Jones over Godwin? What's your temperature on Aaron Jones? It seems like he could have come back into that game.
Aaron Jones is off the injury report. Like, he is fully healthy.
I thought he would be out for sure.
I know. And when he left last week's game, it didn't look like he was like in a ton of trouble. So I'm not shocked, but I'm also like, how is he not even questionable? Like, he's just fully healthy. Like, he's Wolverine.
Yeah.
The thing with Aaron Jones is that Aaron Jones is the offense for the Packers. Chris Godwin, nice to see him get into the end zone today. Like, he didn't do anything outside of the norm, though. Like, he had double-digit targets. He had 5 receptions, 58 yards, low average yards per reception. Like, again, like nothing special. He just got into the paint.
Yeah,
That's
he finished with 71 yards on the day.
71. Okay, he had one more.
Yeah.
6
receptions for 71 yards. Yeah.
Okay, I missed one. 6 for 71. Finally got into the end zone. That's great. But Aaron Jones could also score multiple touchdowns. So I still think you're okay with Aaron Jones. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but
yeah,
I don't feel like you made a massive week-defining error here.
Yeah. Tough question here. You mentioned Mostert earlier, kind of be not startable, but Deontay Johnson with Kenny Pickett has been far from reliable.
Targets are reliable.
The
target share is reliable.
Target share is reliable. He kind of like Chris Godwin. They're in very similar veins where they're getting targets, not getting a ton of yards, and really not getting in the end zone. So I still lean Deontay Johnson over Mostert here, but it's not crazy to think that if Mostert gets in the end zone, he's fine. But if he
with the acquisition of Jeff Wilson, we saw Raheem Mostert's snap share fall 20%. It's a big amount.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He's working in a 50-50 split with Jeff Wilson, as opposed to with Chase Edmonds, he had a 65 to 70% snap share. So opportunity is definitely falling for Raheem. So I don't think that you can start him, but I will start Deontay Johnson.
Yeah. Boss Main always supports the show every single week. What's up, guys? Herbert or Lawrence? Also flex PPR, Gabe Davis, Ronald Moore, Antonio Gibson. Thank you.
The only thing I like about Trevor Lawrence this week is that he plays in the highest over-under against the Chiefs, who have had some pretty high-scoring affairs lately.
Yeah. And, I mean, the Chargers defense has not been good, and it's going to be very hard to stop McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. Herbert should be forced to throw. He just doesn't have any weapons.
Right. He has Austin Eckler.
Josh Palmer is Mr. Necessary at the wide receiver position.
Right.
And then Everett will get his because he always will.
Let's do a smaller game sample size. Let's go the last 4 weeks. Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback 7. And our boy here.
Herbert's got to be like 16 probably.
23.
Oh, gosh. So roll with Herbert. Or sorry, roll with Lawrence, I mean.
Their average is very close, but
touchdowns, right?
Lawrence has still been the better quarterback.
Yeah, so go with Trevor Lawrence this week. That's not how my rankings have it, but I don't blame you for going with Trevor Lawrence and riding the hot hand. And if Eckler rushes in for 2 touchdowns, you're going to be disappointed with Justin Herbert.
The Kansas City Chiefs are also giving up the 8th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. So it's a good game script. High over under.
Yeah.
Trev's been all right. I think this is good. I think this is good for Lawrence.
Yeah. Now, Gabe Davis, when gives you good games and bad games, right? Like, I mean, he seems to have a big game. He has 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns. And with Josh Allen playing, he's a consideration to start. For me, it's between Gabe Davis and Antonio Gibson. Do you lean Davis?
I lean Gabe Davis. If you play Gabe Davis, you have to understand that at any moment Josh Allen could leave the game, and that almost renders Gabe Davis useless.
Right.
The safest play here is Antonio Gibson. So if I need just a safe 8 to 10 points, I'm going with Antonio Gibson to lock up a matchup. If I'm a dog and I need a big one, you gotta go Gabe Davis.
There you go. That's the right answer there. The floor play has got to be Gibson, 8 to 10 points, and if you need a 20-point.
For example, on Thursday night, you had DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts in your lineup, and you were hoping for them to have a good game, and they kind of just threw you 4 to 5 points. Gabe Davis might be what you need to make up the difference. I don't know that Antonio Gibson going against the Eagles is the right recipe there, but Gabe Davis could be the difference maker.
Yeah. Paz, supporter every single week, just coming in to say, I love you, Snap. Took down my 8-0 brother last week. Congrats, my dude. Appreciate you coming in and just to support the show. Loyal listener and supporter, Paz. Chris, Hopkins, Juju, Amari Cooper. I need one. I'm going Amari Cooper over Hopkins, I think.
Ooh.
But they're all good wide receivers. Like,
I would play, I think, both Cooper and Juju over Hopkins this week.
You would play Juju and Hopkins over Cooper?
No, I would play Cooper and Juju over Hopkins.
Okay, good. Gotcha.
This week.
Gotcha. Sorry, I misheard you there. Yeah, I tend to agree with backup quarterback Chris. I mean, that it's possible that Hopkins has a good game. And for the most people, if they don't have other options, Hopkins getting in the end zone, getting 10 targets, that's in his range of outcomes.
12 targets. 12.
There you go. Yeah.
Juju Smith-Schuster, we brought this up on the midweek pod. Juju Smith-Schuster has only had 2 games this year out of the first 8 where he's not received 8 or more targets. Only 2. You know, we're talking about 75% of the games he plays, he's getting 8 or more targets. That is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, really good.
And the one game that he got less than 8 was his 5 for 113 and a touchdown week. Juju's doing all right.
Do you prefer him over Amari?
No, I think they're both heavily targeted. I think Cooper's still been very, very solid.
Yeah.
I'd probably just roll him.
One of the most underrated wide receivers coming into the year and performing very well. That reminds
me. I'm going to start our Scott Fishbowl lineup.
Ooh, I did look at it earlier in the week. I did start.
Okay.
Deonta Foreman for us. So I know we got to start there. Yeah.
Yeah, right now we got Marcus Mariota and Matthews. Oh, we are hurting at quarterback this week, my man.
Yeah, because we have Lamar on bye.
And Stafford out.
Yeah, I bet you, though, that Colt McCoy is probably available on waivers if you want to check that.
Do we have to start 2 quarterbacks?
Nope.
I'm going to
start
in Mariota.
While we work on that, BC Gamer Kid, thoughts on Evans only getting 6 targets? I'm not worried about Mike Evans.
No.
What I like about that is that the Bucs won. So if they lost and they're closer to being out of it, then I would be a little bit more concerned. But Evans will get his. He's gone through slumps in the past. This week was a Godwin game, and they knew everyone knew that Godwin was going to get a touchdown. He hadn't had one all season. They're going to force him to get that touchdown. It was just, unfortunately, that's just how it works. What we wanted was the Seahawks to put up more of a fight. And if they did, that just leads more targets to Mike Evans. So I'm not worried about Mike Evans, though. So streamer, Jimmy G, Goff, Dalton, Russ, Carr. Jimmy G looks like a pretty good streamer this week with all those weapons, and so does Jared Goff. Who do you prefer, Goff or Jimmy G this week?
I'm going to go Goff.
Love it. I like Goff as well. Trey, morning, gents. Always coming by. Appreciate you. Full PPR, Judy or Josh Palmer? Lots of Judy questions this week, and I've been kind of a Judy hater.
Judy hater. You got to go Judy, man.
Judy over Palmer?
Yeah.
I am fine with it.
I am fine with it.
And I would go Devin Singletary, Drew, over Rondell Moore in a full PPR league as well.
I would as well, yeah.
Do I start Komet or Hill at tight end in a full PPR? Chaka?
Oh, my.
They're both got to be like it's efficiency, right? You're not going to get the targets for either one. Hill, I mean, could rush or pass.
He could throw for a touchdown. He could rush for a touchdown. He could receive a touchdown.
Yeah, or get you 3 fantasy points because he only gets or
0.
Or 0. Yeah.
I still will play Taysom Hill.
All right.
Because why not?
Because why not? It's fun. Swift, Pickens, or Connor at the flex in a full PPR league.
Swift.
He's going Swift. Go for that upside, especially if you're down in the matchup and you need a big game. And the Connor 8 to 10 points isn't going to do it for you. I do like Pickens as a stash. We talked about him and did a video on him this week. Great stash. Looks like he should get a bump without Claypool. But hoping for a big Swift game. But that's if you're a fan of the show that we're a big fan of DeAndre Swift. That shouldn't be any surprise to most people. Pick 2, JT Olave and Palmer. I guess we haven't talked about it yet. Jonathan Taylor.
Green light.
I think he's going to be good too. I really like
him to be good.
I really like him to be good. I think JT's going to have a good bounce back game.
Yeah.
I
would go JT and Olave here.
So
as much as I'd like to start Palmer, I think the right play is in Olave, who's had just a ton of targets this year in the absence of Landry and Michael Thomas. And then JT on the comeback. I mean, if you have JT and he's healthy, you've got to play him. You drafted him 1 overall probably to be that for you. So,
yeah. Gamer Kid, I like Amon-Ra this week. I think he's in a really good spot. Here's a good question I saw earlier. Tash asking, Rachaad White on the same track as Ken Walker?
Nope.
No, I don't think he is either. I mean, the Ken Walker was a perfect storm. He was a better talent coming out of college. They're gonna use multiple running backs in that backfield. And Ken Walker had those touchdowns every single week. He had such a streak of touchdowns, and I think that's just hard to project for any running back, especially someone for the Rachaad White for the Bucs.
Rachaad White coming out of college, solid at Arizona State, but not a standout prospect like Kenneth Walker was. Like at Michigan State, Kenneth Walker was a problem and was debated by a lot of Devy analysts and fans and even us, very casual college football watchers. Is it Kenneth Walker this year? Is it Breece Hall? There was a debate between who would be. Isaiah Spiller was in there for a little bit, but it was really who's going to be the number one. And it was heavily debated between Breece Hall and Ken Walker. And Ken Walker finally gets the opportunity, and we see how special he is. Elusive, can break tackles, stay on his feet, pass catching. He can really do it all. Rachaad White is a very competent runner, but he's not a superstar. And Ken Walker could be legitimately a superstar.
Yeah. It's 1:00. Hopefully y'all are made the right choice. I would go I'd go Gabe Davis for the upside over Judy Terry if you're still there. Tash is asking about a trade. Foreman, Evans, and Aaron Jones for Waddle and Mixon. What do you think about that trade?
Tough now. It's after 1.
After 1. I mean, Foreman already played, so it's probably a next week trade anyways.
Yes. I would say join the Discord.
We'll talk about it in the Discord, Tash, and we can get that working for you.
Yeah.
Jimmy G or T-Law. I think it's T-Law for us, or then Fields. Fields would be the start in that list. And then Fields over Tua, Mac?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry there, Terry. We just missed that by a second. Hopefully you went with Gabe Davis for the upside. I think Judy's probably a safer play in PPR leagues, just as a safe play. But I think Davis, we know he's got the 30-point upside, and unfortunately, Jerry Jeudy just doesn't have that in his range of outcomes. So, good luck, everyone, for the stream. Thanks, Mac, for coming in late to help us out.
Yeah.
And we 30 away from 3K. Share it out to your friends. We very much appreciate it. Welcome, or if you do want to become a Snap Army member, click that join button if you're on the desktop version, and we will see you next time. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck. Have a good week.